We're the interns.
This summer, I've learned a lot with my internship. I've learned how to plant trees. I've also learned how to cut down big trees and burn them. And I've also learned that Dario is very stingy about the wind when we burn. I've learned how to work with others with a big group project. Learned how to do lots of different setup around TLC. Learned how to, I don't know. Learned how to set up for fundraisers and weddings. Those are great. I've learned.
I have learned quite a bit. I think the one thing that I go back to always is the fact that in the classroom we get to learn a lot of like the different things, but when you have the hands-on experience is what makes the difference. And I think with taking this hands-on experience, I'll be able to use it in other facets of the industry, because it wasn't just like one particular thing I learned multiple things. I learned about housekeeping, I learned about the maintenance staff, I learned about the different things that happen in the office, learned about different things that happen in the kitchen. So it wasn't just one specific thing, it was kind of a facet of things. So here at the Leadership Center, I basically, most of the time worked in the office. I worked on different projects that were given to me. The main one that I worked on was the fundraiser for the summer, and it was finding auction items that were different from what we had in years past. So it was a bit of a undertaking, but once I got started with it, it was really fun because I was able to get stuff from not only just the surrounding area, but also Lincoln and Omaha.
So my main project at TLC this summer was taking out the tree line, cleaning it up, and then putting in new trees. So that was my main project. But I also got to help with setup inside for weddings, the fundraiser, just different events that we had. Got to be on call and experience that side of TLC, which is great. Yeah, that's what I did here. The thing I enjoyed most about my internship was getting to know everyone who worked here at TLC, because I didn't know anyone that worked here. I really didn't know anything about TLC now that I think about it. Didn't know what they did, or I just knew that I wasn't allowed to come fish and I really wanted to. But no, my favorite thing definitely was getting to know everybody and getting close to them and developing friendships that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't worked here.
One thing that I enjoyed the most about my internship was being able to not just like work in one specific area, but being able to work in the different departments that we have here, just because it wasn't like every single day like coming here, it wasn't just like, you know, something that you go to your office and you sit down and you have like a list of things to do. Like every single day was different, so I think that was the most one thing that I enjoyed the most.
Two lovely people. What's wrong with that handshake? Anyone? Bueller? It's just weird. It's just weird.
It's like Andrew was like,
like he was the Queen of England.
Right, it's like what you would do, I guess, right, like when I said if you met the Queen of England or you met someone of royalty, that's not a handshake you would do when you're trying to meet someone for an interview or networking. So, next one. Is it ever appropriate to fist bump for a handshake?
Oh my God.
to a turkey. They're cold and flu, yes. Or I guess if you're a germaphobe.
How about in a job interview?
But a job interview, it's not appropriate. It does not show that you're mature for a job. It does not give the best first impression of yourself. We do know somebody that was interviewing interns at UNL, and one of the candidates fist bumped him as opposed to giving him a handshake. Needless to say, he did not get the internship. So
how did he end that interview? That the end of the interview? Or are you going to cover that later?
I forgot how.
The chest bump.
Oh. What?
Oh.
And then the Facebook friend.
Oh.
True story.
So obviously, a fist bump is not the way to go. So next handshake. Is that good or bad? Good. Good job. Good job, you two.
Oh, the most challenging, I think, was the fact of I'm kind of a perfectionist a little bit on things. So not having something go maybe the way that I would have wanted it to was probably like the most challenging, just because when you have something that doesn't go the way you want and you're a perfectionist, it kind of doesn't set well with you. So having to work with that challenge.
I'd say the most challenging part of my internship was working with all the opinions on how I should do the tree line. There's just a lot of, because Miley had what she wanted, which was the final say, but I also had to work in, what the neighbors wanted, because they have to look at the tree line all the time, and just working with, different opinions and finally putting them together and pushing everyone in the right direction to what I wanted and getting a good final product. I would say my favorite person has probably been Sue, because we started with Sue, we got to learn with Sue, and so it was nice to have someone that was a lot older than us that could help us through the process of starting a new job at a place that we knew nothing about.
I would have to say my favorite TLC staff member would have to be Michaela, not just because she is my boss, but also the fact that she was the first person that I met before I actually even filled out my application, before I even did my interview. She was the person that came into the classroom, told me about this internship, and I felt like, her personality and her encouragement and basically her enthusiasm about the internship is kind of what grasped me to come to TLC and be a part of the team. I guess I would have to say my favorite memory from working here would have to be the random, different things that we would do in the office. Like, I know that Michaela, there was one day that we started watching carpool karaoke, and then there was one day where Miley and Michaela went to Grand Island to go work on some different stuff that we have coming up, but they stopped at this bakery that I had talked about, and we got cake and we started eating the different cake. So it's just those little memories that you think about, the little things that kind of got you through the day, because working sometimes the long hours is not always fun, but it's the things that make the staff members that make it what it is. And so I would say that those are probably going to be my favorite memories, the little things.
I've thought about this question a lot since lunch. I think my favorite thing from the internship would probably have to be learning about and experiencing the wonder of old Greg. I can confidently say that he will impact my life for a very long time. He will be on my tree, my Christmas tree with my family. I'll explain him to my children someday, regardless of what my wife thinks. So yeah, old Greg.
So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your
Jeez, you're drooling.
So who's the one that's dressed properly and who's the one that's dressed improperly?
What job were you applying for?
They're applying for a job here at the Leadership Center in maintenance.